They're marked as a house of death and disease. The barricades a silent reminder to the village that coronavirus is inside. Sarita Singh took selfies whilst working at the local elections in Uttar Pradesh. She was among hundreds of teachers ordered by the government to run the polls. If they refused, they risked losing their jobs. These pictures given to us by teachers show just how packed it was. By this stage, India was already setting global records for coronavirus infections. Within a week of returning, Sarita was ill and struggling to breathe. The teaching unions say she was one of more than 700 teachers in the state who died from coronavirus after being ordered to work on the local elections. Uttar Pradesh has a population the size of Britain, France and Germany combined and has been one of the regions worst affected by coronavirus. But we found little evidence of anything like lockdown. Nearly 3/4 of the population live in rural India, and this state is traditionally the heartland of support for the governing BJP party. But now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is facing criticism at home and abroad for focusing on the polls and not the pandemic. We travelled to the village in Uttar Pradesh where Sarita lived. The teacher's family is not only in mourning for her, but when we arrive at the home, which is now cordoned off, one of her sons, who deliberately keeps his distance, tells us that both his father and brother have been told they have COVID, and the rest of them are all showing symptoms.
We decided to put on some protective clothing because we're going into a house where 2 people are positive, other people are showing symptoms. We want to protect ourselves, but also make sure we don't take the virus out with us.
There's a lot of fear in the village now. The only hospital is nearly 2 hours away, and that's if you have a vehicle. Most here don't. Sarita's family begged her not to do the election work, but told us the teachers had been warned they faced being arrested if they didn't do their civic duty.
ये सब जो दिन देखना पड़ रहा है, ये सुनना देखना पड़ता। आज उनका बर्थडे, आज मदर्स डे, और आज ही के दिन आप सब ये सब कर रहे हैं। जिस दिन हम लोग उनको शुभकामनाएं देते हैं, उस दिन उनको ये बताना पड़ रहा है कि वो किस वजह से दुनिया से चली गई। उनका जन्मदिन है। भैया
बता, हम बाद में समझाएंगे। मम्मी का अगले साल जन्मदिन मनाएंगे ना, ठीक है।
Her own mother, who's feverish and has a cough now, is distraught.
नहीं जा रहा है भैया, बहुत समझाए, हम कहने इतने महामारी में ना जाओ लाल, कहीं ना जाए तो हमारे भाई यार हो जाइए, मम्मी ना करने ड्यूटी.
The family have been waiting nearly a week for the results of their own COVID tests, and they took Sarita to 2 different hospitals for help, but couldn't get a test for her straight away and couldn't get her admitted to hospital without one.
These are the results of the coronavirus test which she took on May the 3rd. It's positive. She'd suffered 7 days of symptoms by this time, and she only got the result the day after she died. So she was never registered as a coronavirus death.
5 other households in the village are now suffering. The elections here and across the country have become super-spreading events, taking the virus into areas largely COVID-free before, and leaving plenty bitterly doubting the Prime Minister's lead role in campaigning with such a high human cost. Alex Crawford, Sky News in Uttar Pradesh.